I'm Kev.
And I'm Steve.
And we're from the internet.
Want to support the show? Do all your Amazon shopping through we'refromtheinternet.com/Amazon, and it doesn't cost you anything extra, but we get a little kickback on everything you buy.
Do you prefer ebooks or real books?
I'm going to refuse. Damn it! I wanted to refuse to be the first one to speak for once. I always speak first, and it's getting me down.
Well, I prefer ebooks, I think, because if I'm holding a big book and I fall asleep, it hits me in the head. And you can just fit a million ebooks on a phone.
Now, leaping on that point like a rabid dog, I would much rather a paperback book hit me in the face than my 9-inch Kindle Fire that weighs a bloody ton. And when I drop that on my face, which I do 2 or 3 nights a week probably, really hurts. Whereas if I was reading a book, it's just paper. It's not hurting me.
I don't know. But also, books smell.
Books smell fantastic.
Yeah, it depends, doesn't it?
What, you read books on your phone? That's a bit weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I read books and comics on my phone.
You read comics on your phone?
Yeah.
That's really weird. How can you read a comic on your phone? The reason I got the 9-inch Kindle was so that I could read a comic without the screen size.
Well, I prefer to read them on my iPad, but I will zoom in on the bits. I realised I was about 6 or 7 editions behind on The Walking Dead, so I got all of them and then read 4 of them on my iPad, and then the next day read the rest on the way to work.
Whereas I went to a comic book store and bought the trade paperback, I'm now halfway through. It's sat on my desk in the other room. I wanted it in paper.
What are we up to? 135 or something? 134?
I don't know. I got it. It's the collection that starts with the bit after All Out War. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the next 6 or 7 issues from there. So I won't be fully caught up by it, but I'd rather read that. It's weird. Comics, I'd rather read on paper. But books these days, I think the thing I like most about ebooks is the fact that they're cheap. And yeah, you can fit loads of them on a device and just take it with you. And
when you bark orders at me to buy and read a book, I can just get it off Amazon within seconds for like £2. Or sometimes free if it's in the Kindle library. And jobs are good, and that's quite handy. I read a lot more to be fair, I'm saying that, but then one of my colleagues gives me a lot of motivational, salesy books that help you be more efficient and this and the other, which are really cool. When I first got handed one, I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy this. But got really stuck into them, and then you've suddenly sent me the 4-Hour Workweek one, which I'm nearly finished. I've been a bit slow.
I've read 4-Hour Body now as well, his next one, which is why I have the kettlebell. Because that came out of 4-Hour Body, and the next one is 4-Hour Chef. I've got that ready to go as well, which apparently it's not just becoming a cook, that teaches you how to learn any skill. So it's just he chose to become a chef, but you could learn anything based on the stuff in there. So Tim Ferriss is a genius. But I got all his
ebooks introduced us. Well, that's the thing. Now, I mean, I couldn't have a library big enough to cover all the books. And I know, I follow a lot of book reviewers on Twitter for some reason.
Probably because you're an author.
Well, yeah, but I've never spoken to any of them. I don't know why. But anyway, they have like libraries of books all over their houses and stuff. And I always think, I do appreciate the smell of some books. Some books smell a bit rank, but and I do appreciate the feel of a book sometimes. But it's just the storage and the accessibility. My phone has hundreds of books on it. I can just read them as and when.
That's the fire risk. I'd be terrified sleeping in a room surrounded by all that paper.
Yeah. And it just seems like they could probably save a lot of money by renting a smaller place with no books in it and put all that money into buying more things to read on their Kindle or whatever, or their iPad. And then they could just consume everything. And the thing is that when I'm reading a book, the cover and the feel of it is probably good for the first 5 minutes, but after that you're only focusing on the words, so you might as well just focus on that from the offset.
It's weird though when you look at different genres and how people's opinion on how to buy it is different, because for our Best Thing From books and all our fiction, we sell maybe 1 paperback for every 50 ebooks that we sell. It's just it's an ebook series. Hardly anyone buys the paperbacks. But with my my study book, my revision guide thing that I wrote, I probably sell more paperbacks out than I do ebooks, because I don't know whether that's because it's aimed at teenagers. Perhaps they don't have a device to read it on, but they probably all have a tablet or a phone or something. But maybe they don't have perhaps they can't they don't have an Amazon account, so they can't download it that way. Perhaps it's
Maybe.
easier to
Or
get
just
mummy
want
and
someone
daddy
to
to buy the
reference,
book.
perhaps.
Yeah, or perhaps it is just a case of, weirdly, the younger generation want a book still, because my kids, they've both got Kindles, but they both read books. They hardly ever use their Kindles. But they both have them, and I've filled them with books, and when they ask for a new book, I say, well, do you want it as a book, or do you want it on your Kindle? I want the book. So they get the book, but they've both got Kindles. It's weird. Whereas me, I'm annoyed when I have to buy a book as a paperback. There's a couple of books that I've bought recently that I had to buy the paperback because there's never been a Kindle version of them made. But I really want it on the Kindle because then I can go back and reference it. It's searchable then, and I've got all of them sat there on my Kindle to read whenever I want.
See, I definitely prefer the Kindle, and I think one thing, I've almost eliminated all the little insecurities I have that make me anxious about being out in public, but I still get a little bit funny if I'm holding a paperback or a hardback and people can see what the book is. Even though it's not something I'm ashamed of. I'm not reading 50 Shades of Grey or something like that. When I was reading from...
That's far too tame for you.
When I was reading From Success to... I keep getting this wrong. From Success to Failure, I was going to say. From Failure to Success by something Becker. I can't remember his first name. Frank Becker, something like that. It was a very good book. I was reading one called Eat That Frog. And I kept just feeling like people would see that cover and just think, what's he trying, what's he reading that for? What around? I don't know. I was just convinced Eating That Frog, I was going to say, reading those books would look a bit odd on the bus, whereas a Kindle book, no one can see what it is. They just see that I'm reading a Kindle. Plus, you can read it in the dark, which is always handy. That's the big reason. That's why I bought a Kindle, and then realised you had to buy an additional light to use it in the dark.
Well, some of us have the backlit version.
Now that's the thing, and I've got an iPad now, so I don't need that. But originally,
do you still read on your Kindle now? You've got an iPad?
No, I don't. I haven't touched my Kindle now. I've got an iPad.
You set fire to it?
No, it's
Well,
not a
you
Kindle
sell it.
Fire.
You're the kind of man who would sell something the moment he stops using it. I'm confused.
Never even thought about that. Do you know? You've made me think. I wonder what that goes for now.
Is it an original Kindle with a keyboard on?
Yeah, I think so.
25, 30 quid?
That'd be alright.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll buy it off you for a £5.
I might ask my daughter if she wants it.
She'll take it, but then she'll just want paperback books because they're all the same. What was I going to say? There was going to be something profound about books then, but I can't remember what it is, so I'm clicking my fingers instead. What about the mystery third option, audiobooks? Audiobooks I've started to get into recently.
The only time I've never listened to an audio. I was going to say I listened to some comedy ones, but no, they were radio shows like Ricky Gervais and The Mighty Boosh.
But now you've got your Kindle Unlimited subscription, audiobooks are in that as well. So you could be listening to audiobooks. I listened to the whole Hunger Games series as audiobook. And it was excellent.
Have you read the...
I've not read them, I listened to the audiobooks.
Okay.
So
I might do that on the way to work then. You've sorted me. I listened to This American Life on Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I listened to Hunger Games.
There you go, see, 'cause it's all in your Kindle Unlimited subscription. I think the Harry Potter ones are on there as well, but everyone in the world's read Harry Potter, so you don't need them again. But yeah, Hunger Games, audiobook, it's really well acted as well.
That's amazing, because I'd been trying to figure out when the hell I was going to get the time to read that, because I much prefer at the moment, I like listening to random nonsense on the way to work.
This podcast would be ideal for you.
Exactly, it would be. But when I'm reading, I want it to be something important that's going to make a difference to my life, and that isn't the news or something stupid like that. I want it to be some sort of try doing this, do that, stop living your life this way, live it that way kind of thing. Because I feel like I'm in that kind of zone that, when I read that, what's his name? Tim Ferriss, his ideas, it's only giving me the momentum to just get cracking on something, So, yeah, ebooks, audiobooks, they sound good.
So burn the other books, that's what we're saying.
All of them.
Apart from all those ones of mine that people are buying. Keep buying them, kids. Want to help us spread the We're From the Internet word? Leaving us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes and Stitcher would give us a nice little boost in the search results and help new listeners find us.